Linda Marie McMahon, née Edwards, born October 4, 1948, in New Bern, North Carolina, is an American businesswoman, politician, and the 13th United States Secretary of Education, serving since March 3, 2025, under President Donald Trump's second administration. Her journey from a small-town upbringing to a key figure in professional wrestling, politics, and education policy is marked by ambition, resilience, and controversy. Below is a comprehensive account of her life, drawn from available information and critically examined for accuracy and context. Early life and education. Linda Marie Edwards was born to Evelyn and Henry Edwards, both employees at Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point in North Carolina. An only child in a Welsh-American, conservative Baptist family, she described herself as a tomboy, enjoying sports like basketball and baseball. She grew up in a modest environment and showed early independence. At age 13, she met Vince McMahon, then 16, whose mother worked in the same building as Linda's mother. The two formed a connection that would shape their personal and professional lives. Linda later converted to Roman Catholicism. She attended Havelock High School and enrolled at East Carolina University in 1966, earning a bachelor's degree in French in 1969, completing the program in 3 years to graduate alongside Vince. Her degree included a certification to teach French, reflecting an early interest in education, though she never pursued classroom teaching. Reports have surfaced, notably from the Washington Post, that McMahon incorrectly claimed to have a degree in education during her political campaigns, a claim later clarified by her team as a misunderstanding, as her degree was in French with teaching certification. Marriage and family. Linda married Vince McMahon in 1966, shortly after graduating high school. The couple had 2 children, Shane, born 1970, and Stephanie, born 1976, both of whom later became involved in the family business, World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. Linda and Vince's partnership extended beyond family, as they co-founded and built WWE into a global entertainment empire. In 2024, it was announced that Linda and Vince had separated, though their professional legacy remains intertwined. Their children have held prominent roles in WWE, with Shane as a performer and executive, and Stephanie as a key figure in creative and management roles. Business career. Building WWE. In 1980, Linda and Vince McMahon founded Titan Sports, Inc., which became World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE. Starting as a regional wrestling promotion in the northeastern United States, they transformed it into a multi-billion-dollar global enterprise. Linda served as president from 1993 to 2000 and CEO from 1997 to 2009, overseeing business operations, television deals, and merchandising, including iconic products like wrestling superstars' action figures. Her strategic vision helped WWE go public in 1999, cementing its financial success. While Vince focused on creative aspects and on-screen personas, Linda managed the business side, leveraging skills from her early career as a receptionist and paralegal at Covington and Burling, where she studied French translation and intellectual property law. She initiated civic programs like Get REAL, promoting literacy through WWE Stars and SmackDown. Your Vote, encouraging voter participation. Under her leadership, WWE received awards for supporting U.S. troops, including the USO of Metropolitan Washington's Legacy of Hope Award and the Secretary of Defense Exceptional Public Service Award. Linda occasionally appeared on screen, most notably in a scripted feud with Vince that culminated at WrestleMania X7 in 2001. Her business acumen and public persona made her a central figure in WWE's growth, though her tenure was not without controversy, including allegations of enabling a workplace environment at WWE that overlooked misconduct, which resurfaced during her later political career. Political career. Early attempts and SBA role. Linda McMahon transitioned from business to politics in 2009, stepping down as WWE CEO to pursue public service. That year, Connecticut Governor Jody Rell nominated her to the Connecticut State Board of Education, where she served for about a year. Her brief tenure focused on advocating for teacher empowerment and student success, though critics later argued it provided limited education policy experience. She resigned in 2010 to run for the U.S. Senate as a Republican, challenging Democrat Richard Blumenthal. Despite spending heavily, she lost the 2010 election and ran again in 2012, losing to Chris Murphy in a contentious race. During these campaigns, She positioned herself as socially moderate, supporting school choice, teacher autonomy, and job-focused education, while describing herself as pro-choice and advocating for state-level decisions on issues like marriage equality. In 2016, President-elect Donald Trump nominated McMahon as Administrator of the U.S. Small Business Administration, SBA, a role she held from February 14, 2017, to April 12, 2019. Confirmed by an 81-19 Senate vote, she oversaw support for small businesses, disaster relief, and entrepreneurial programs, including the White House's Pledge to America's Workers, which created over 16 million education and training opportunities. Her tenure was generally well received, with the Washington Post noting progress in fixing SBA emergency call centers post-Hurricane Harvey. She stepped down in 2019 to chair America First Action, a pro-Trump super PAC, and later served as chair of the Center for the American Worker at the Trump-aligned America First Policy Institute. Secretary of Education. Nomination and confirmation. On November 19, 2024, President-elect Trump nominated McMahon as U.S. Secretary of Education, aligning with his campaign promise to dismantle the Department of Education and return control to states. Her nomination sparked debate due to her limited education policy experience, primarily her one-year stint on the Connecticut Board of Education and 16 years as a trustee at Sacred Heart University. Critics, including the National Education Association, NEA, called her unqualified, likening her to Trump's first-term Education Secretary Betsy DeVos and arguing her support for school vouchers could defund public schools. Supporters, like Senate Majority Leader John Thune, praised her as an accomplished businesswoman and public servant. During her February 13, 2025, Senate confirmation hearing before the Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions (HELP) Committee, McMahon outlined her vision: empowering parents, expanding school choice, reducing federal overreach, and focusing on core subjects like math, reading, science, and history. She emphasized workforce-aligned education, supporting Pell Grant expansion for skills training and advocating for apprenticeships. Addressing concerns about closing the Education Department, she clarified that only Congress could make that decision and committed to maintaining key programs like Title I funding for low-income schools and Pell Grants. However, she suggested transferring some functions, like disability rights enforcement, to other agencies, such as the Department of Health and Human Services. The hearing was contentious, with interruptions from protesters and pointed questions from senators like Bernie Sanders, who warned that dismantling the department could harm underserved communities. On February 20, the HELP Committee advanced her nomination in a 12-11 vote, and on March 3, 2025, the Senate confirmed her 51-45, largely along party lines. She was sworn in by Jacqueline Clay later that day as the 13th Secretary of Education. Tenure as Secretary of Education. Since taking office, McMahon has aligned with Trump's agenda to reduce the federal role in education. On March 20, 2025, Trump signed an executive order directing her to prepare the Department of Education for potential closure, a move requiring congressional approval. McMahon has emphasized restoring state oversight, eliminating bureaucracy, and promoting school choice, arguing that federal overreach has led to a system in decline. She has supported initiatives to combat critical race theory, diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) programs, and gender ideology in schools, aligning with Trump's executive orders on patriotic education and civics. A controversial memo issued by her department in February 2025 threatened to cut federal funding to schools engaging in race-related decisions, raising concerns about restrictions on teaching African American history or supporting diversity-focused student groups. Critics, including The Nation, labeled her an educational arsonist for potentially stifling inclusive curricula, while supporters argue she's restoring focus on core academics. McMahon has defended her approach, stating in April 2025 to ed-tech entrepreneurs that she aims to preserve key federal funds while cutting red tape. Her tenure has been polarizing. Supporters highlight her business background as a strength for reforming a bloated system, while detractors, including the NEA, argue her policies prioritize privatization over public education. Her alignment with Trump's vision has drawn scrutiny, particularly given the department's role in funding low-income schools and enforcing anti-discrimination protections. Controversies and legal issues. McMahon's career has faced significant controversies. In October 2024, She was named in a lawsuit alleging she and Vince McMahon ignored the "Ring Boys" scandal in the early 1990s, where WWE personnel were accused of sexually exploiting young boys. Her legal team dismissed the claims as baseless, but the allegations resurfaced during her nomination, fueling criticism from opponents. The NEA and others cited these allegations, alongside her limited education experience, as reasons to oppose her confirmation. Additionally, her incorrect claim of having an education degree during her Senate campaigns drew renewed scrutiny in 2024, though her team clarified the error was addressed years earlier. Critics have also pointed to her wealth, estimated at $3.2 billion from WWE, and her close ties to Trump as evidence of favoritism over qualifications. Personal life and legacy. Linda McMahon's net worth, built through WWE's success, underscores her business acumen. Her contributions to education-related civic programs, like We's Get REAL, and her service on the Sacred Heart University Board of Trustees reflect a consistent, if limited, engagement with education. Her political resilience is evident in her persistence despite electoral losses and her ability to secure high-profile roles in Trump's administrations. As Secretary of Education, McMahon faces the challenge of balancing Trump's deregulatory agenda with the needs of over 100 million students. Her focus on school choice, workforce development, and state control aligns with conservative priorities but risks alienating educators and communities reliant on federal support. Her tenure will likely shape debates on the future of federal education policy, with critics warning of privatization and supporters hoping for streamlined, localized systems. Critical perspective. While McMahon's business success and political loyalty to Trump have propelled her to prominence, her limited education experience raises valid concerns about her suitability for leading a department responsible for equitable education access. The allegations tied to WWE's past, though unproven, cast a shadow over her public image, particularly in a role overseeing student welfare. Her policies, rooted in reducing federal oversight, may empower states but risk exacerbating inequities in underfunded districts. Conversely, her supporters argue that her outsider perspective and proven leadership could disrupt a stagnant system, prioritizing practical skills and parental choice.